hope that every town has a Miss Georgie, somebody who speaks in the life of young people and old people alike, who gives them a dream in many cases and takes the top off of it in others.
Well, now she was a piano teacher, so does that mean that you have a little piano playing ability?
Very, very little. She taught me piano and I played drums. I started playing drums in the marching band in Bate High School and continued on, and actually went to school on a percussion and vocal scholarship. So made it work. You know, when I started playing drums, my dad, all of a sudden, who was in the coal business for a while, all of a sudden needed an office out back that I could make noise in. So, but yeah, I play a little bit, just enough to scare you.
So you could do your own. You of course you sing wonderfully. You could play the drums, and you could do all of your own instruments, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned your dad.
Yeah.
And I know that you spent some time in the book, Shaped Notes, talking about your parents and some of the ways that they impacted your life. Share just a bit about that, if you would.
Well, I have to tell you, my parents are the heroes. My mom, for instance, my mom prayed my dad into the kingdom. He needed it at that time. And as a little boy, sitting at her knee, listening to her pray for him, I got to tell you, I understood right away that he didn't have a chance, and I didn't really understand the whole situation, the grown-up stuff at all. But he broke a cycle, a generational cycle. You'll have to read the book to find out what that is. But he broke a cycle, and the prayers of my mother made that happen. And guess what little boy needed to see his dad become the spiritual head of the home, and a good husband to a wonderful lady, and a great father to a little kid, this kid right here. And I believe that a lot of what has happened to me today is a result of my mom and my dad, and especially my mom's prayers.
Well, Larnelle Harris joining us today here at NRB 2018. Shaped Notes is the title of this memoir, and we will have more with Larnelle coming up here on this edition of the Meeting House on Faith Radio. Well, it's National Religious Broadcasters 2018, NRB, Larnelle Harris stopping by. Great to see you. And I wanted to ask you, we've been talking about Shaped Notes, and obviously you mentioned your piano teacher and how she encouraged you to develop that gift that you undoubtedly had. You talked about your parents and really your mom's prayers and your dad coming into an acceptance of Christ and breaking a generation or a series throughout the generations. So how did you see God use people to steer you? You mentioned you went to college on a percussion scholarship. You've been immersed in music. So how did you see God take that trajectory and really open doors for you to become the singer that many know you to be?
Well, the first door that was really open, I joined church when I was 12 years old, but it wasn't until I was out of college that I really understood what being a Christian was all about. I met a fellow musician, a guy that I greatly respected. Stan Morris was his name. He was a wonderful trombone player in his own right. And he challenged me in a way that I hadn't been challenged before. As I said, I joined church when I was 12, but he started asking me questions about what it meant to be a Christian and what I thought that was about. And he asked me if I had ever, if I could remember the time when I asked Christ to come to my heart. I couldn't remember that time. And it was at a rehearsal camp of a group called the Spurlows. It started by Thurlow Spur, which was really the beginning of contemporary Christian music. And I got that straight at that rehearsal camp with Stan Morris. So all of these things, I believe, and all of these people were a series of events that God was using to keep me protected, as He will all of us, until I could meet Stan and really get my life solidified and understand who God was, that I had the opportunity to put myself in a place where He could do His work in my heart and in my life. And singing and doing other things, that is all just cream on top of the crop here. The most important thing was for me to understand that who I was to be in Him, in Christ.